Yo, 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 what's up?
Beauty and the Beard. This is
15th, 16th?
16th. It's a Wednesday. 6/21. It feels so weird. I don't know why.
We haven't done it in a while.
It has been a while.
Since the Johnsons were here.
It's been a while. Welcome everybody. It's your boy T. Roy.
And I'm Shaka.
And we are here for Beauty and Beard. We're super duper excited to have you all with us today. This is going to be an exciting episode. Got a couple surprises, and then we're going to jump into some more end game cards.
And there are even surprises for me. So please forgive us for whatever's about to happen.
So here's a crazy part. I wanted to tell Shaka, I don't want to catch Shaka off guard. Shaka's a planner. She's a planner by heart. And I was like, I want to share something with everybody, but I know if I share it, Shaka's going to be like, I don't know how to respond. Like, I don't. So I told her to be prepared to be impromptu, and also to just be surprised. I'm going to surprise.
I'm
just say
scared.
She's scared. She's so
Guys,
scared.
this is actually really happening, whatever he's about to say.
So it's two things. The first thing I'm going to start off with saying is this actually hurts my heart to actually share this information, to be quite honest with you, because something's been near and dear to me for so many years, and to actually like part ways from it, it hurts. It really hurts. I'm going to get an iPhone. Now, for a lot of y'all out there, you're like, what the heck is going on? I have been pro Android my whole life. Like all my cell phones have been Android. Although I did have, but before Android, I did have like the flip phone. I had the Nokia phone coming up, and
I think you have actually had every single brand of phone out there at least once in your life.
Two phones I didn't have that I really wanted to have, and that's a Razr.
Okay.
I didn't get a Razr. And a Sidekick.
You didn't have a Sidekick?
No, when my boy Hyden, pastor out in Nevada, he had a Sidekick in college. Man, I was so jealous.
Wow. So I have only, for the most part, had Samsung. I don't think I've ever had an LG or.
Your chocolate was an LG.
Was it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Y'all remember the chocolates that like spun? It was like a little slender thing.
No. That was the Juke. Because I think
what's a chocolate?
The chocolate was the white one. So it looked like it was white and black. There was one that was white, one was black. It looked like probably, I'd say this is going to sound weird, a younger version of the blue, was that blue? Blackberry.
Shaka had a Blackberry.
I had a Blackberry. And so I think once they started kind of making a less business like version of the Blackberry, that's what I would call the chocolate. And so it was really cool because it was, the one I got was white. And that was when phones were just black and silver, or maybe like blue and weird colors. But the Juke was a slender phone, probably, I don't know, maybe like an inch wide or so, and maybe about 3 inches long when it was folded shut. And so it kind of slid open like this and became a very long, thin phone. Like, and it was called that because it was supposed to be really good for playing music. They really advertised the fact that you could have a whole playlist and everything on it. So I think Juke was kind of like jukebox.
Oh, that makes sense. So, and Yeah, so I didn't have a Sidekick and I didn't have a Razor. But why am I getting the iPhone? First of all, I hate all my friends. Let me just put that on
Ah,
out there.
wife too.
Low key don't like her either.
Because
Because everyone has iPhones
yes,
and I always get barked at whenever I'm in group chats. Troy, I didn't get your messages. Or Troy, it came in like 4 different parts. Or man, I don't even know what y'all talking about. Yeah, because Troy's messages won't even come to everybody in the group chat. So I'm getting an iPhone just so I can. My friends keep barking at me because I am in group chats on my iPad.
he is. So,
And look,
so Troy has an
I
iPad
got
and
an
he
iPad
has a Mac
and a Mac.
computer. And he's actually he had a Mac before I had a Mac, and he's the reason why I wanted a Mac for
No,
work. Oh no, we got it together.
in
You're
life,
right.
yeah,
You're
you
right.
have,
Yeah. And he's one of the reasons. So like watching his was why I said I'm going to stick with the Mac.
So that's actually one of the bigger reasons. Well, my friends, they get mad at me because they're like, Troy, quit texting me from your iPad.
Yeah.
And I'll text them from I'll be in the group chats on my Mac laptop. But real talk, like that's probably one of the bigger reasons is that the phone will talk really well with my computer. I'm be honest with you, I was a huge PC fan for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since we've been doing beauty and beard, I got a refurbished Mac from the school that we work at, and it's been amazing. I love it. I love how Mac does their computers. And so I'm switching over, and I'm so ashamed.
Yes.
I'm so ashamed.
Yes.
So
Woo.
once I get this
Team Apple.
Once I get this iPhone, I will no longer be ridiculed as the blue bubble in the group chat, and all that type of stuff.
FaceTime. Yay.
The Mac PC, that joint's dope.
It is.
I would never go back as far as like.
Honestly, for a novice like me who is not used to doing any type of production, or any type of anything like marketing or publishing or anything that actually requires you to make something look professional in that sense, I absolutely love the Apple templates. I love the fact that I can go in and I can look at things and they have features that make it seem like I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And they're clean. Everything they do looks clean and sharp, and I love it. And by the way, this is not sponsored.
This is not sponsored at all.
We're totally
yeah
talking about all this
but
stuff. And
I do
not.
all the production on the all the video editing. I do my audio recording on the Mac, and it's just amazing. As a matter of fact, I'm in this part of the screen right here, maybe like this part of the screen right here. I'm gonna put credits of me like editor Troy Burnett, producer Troy Burnett, executive producer Troy, grip boy Troy Burnett, starring Troy Burnett,
Stage crew
Troy
Burnett.
Troy Burnett, featuring.
But I will add this though, because I don't want us to seem like we're trying to tell people one's better than the other.
Right, because Android is better than Mac, or better than iPhones.
No.
100%. I'm sorry, babe. I gotta cut you off. Android is better than iPhones. It just makes me feel like, I don't know. Android makes me feel like I'm hanging out with my buddy and we can actually like enjoy technology. iPhones make me feel like I'm at a hoity-toity banquet and I'm like, I have to be, I don't know.
Because that's not your style.
It's
but
not.
The reason, what I was going to say before you said I have to cut you off.
I'm sorry.
As I was actually about to give some praise to the PC
family.
Android
Come on to it.
Exactly. I will say that the PC and Android type of setup is more user friendly.
It is.
And so that is the one thing that I think is definitely better on that side. So if you're not someone who's tech savvy or you don't feel like having to figure out your device that much, or maybe you also don't want to pay for some of the programs that are out there, you'd like to be able to have a variety, then yes, I will say that the PC and the Android are better, for that in that regard.
Are you trying to say PC and Android are for slow people? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
That's what I just heard.
No.
And that iPhones are for advanced people?
I'm trying to say that the Apple family has a lot of layering. And so there's a lot of customization, a lot of things that you have to figure out, especially since this is like a PC driven world. Like when you go to jobs, they're usually not going to supply you with a Mac. Let's be real.
That's true.
They're usually going to say your desktop is a PC version of whatever brand is out there. Mm-hmm. And so when you're used to 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, whatever, working on one type of device, like one setup, and then you have to go home and try to figure out another or switch your mind to another. Like you can't just do Control V or whatever. Now you have to do like Command Control V, whatever, like a whole combination. Your brain has to completely flip.
That is one thing I don't like about PC is that they switch Control and Command. Like Control on the PC is on the far left, whereas on a Mac it's the Command button, which is right beside the space bar. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I prefer the PC version.
And that's some of the commands. Part of that too, though, is just because that's what you're used to. Like all day long at work, we use a PC.
Yeah.
And so for most of the day, we're using a PC. And then when we come home, both of us have Macs. So he has the laptop, and I actually have the desktop. We during COVID spoiled ourselves a bit. Spoiled ourselves as in bought refurbished, but they're actually very, very good quality. And I got was it 27-inch desktop? Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I have had my Mac since like we got married, and so that we bought it in January of 2011, and so I have
that joint's dead.
It is so slow. I refuse to give it up though, and so it was time for both of us to replace our computers. But that's the one thing. If you're okay with having to figure it out and literally having to invest time in getting to know your system, then an Apple's a good buy.
Yeah.
And if you do more stuff like this, like we're doing production, and you're not just a basic user, then an Apple's probably a good buy.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to spoil yourself.
Yeah. So that's announcement number 1.
Right? Apple.
Also, this is a side announcement. I am wearing a Giannis Antetokounmpo t-shirt because I am a Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. My Bucks got knocked out the other day, and I don't appreciate all the backlash that people saying that Giannis is not an MVP caliber player. That's the only thing I had to say about that. But anyway, so surprise number 2.
So was that like 1A?
No, that was I just want to acknowledge that I'm wearing it, and I know it's going to be a lot of haters talking about a Giannis Antetokounmpo in the chat, because I got a few haters. So I just want to make sure, because I'm a fan of them.
So number 2.
I have made the decision that I'm going to go to counseling. This is something that I've been wrestling with for like the last maybe year and a half. And I think it's time. I grew up, I'm not sure if y'all could tell, the light's kind of shining kind of brightly on me, but I'm black.
On a good day.
Man, I didn't get any sun this summer.
That is a huge tangent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know, I'm just saying, but it's about to be winter, and I'm going to be like paler than this right now.
Troy, I don't think most of us got sun this summer. Most of us were self-quarantining as we should. And the farthest we went was probably to the mailbox or sitting on our decks and patios.
Yeah,
and the lucky few have a pool and got to actually dip their toe in the water.
That's true. All right. So, yeah, that was a tangent. But I'm black. And so inside of a lot growing up in the Black community, going to counselors is not necessarily a thing that that is encouraged. Mm-hmm. Specifically, if you grew up Black and religious, and we did. I mean, we grew up in our faith. Yeah. We are Christian. If y'all couldn't tell by some of the podcasts and stuff like that, but so it was always, hey, take your problems to Jesus. Jesus will fix your problems, and
and home remedies.
And home remedies, like what? What you mean?
Like the thought that if you, I can't think of one right now, but somehow or another, there's a concept inside. There's an idea of what happens in the family stays in the family.
Oh, yeah.
And so, your therapist then becomes your parents, or mm-hmm. becomes your aunt or uncle, or what have you, or something like that.
Your parents, your aunts, uncles become your therapist.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is, oh, well, if you just go to church, it'll take care of it. Or, right. Or if we just don't talk about it, it'll go away. Or if we, maybe put our focus on something else, it'll go away, and mm-hmm. stuff like that. And it's really self-soothing is really heavily encouraged in the Black community. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like, I guess home remedy wasn't necessarily it. That's more of a health thing, but
yeah. And so, it was never really one of those things that's encouraged or even thought about, or it was considered like, oh, you go to a therapist, you must be crazy, mm-hmm. And so then you automatically get into an assumption of that something's wrong with somebody.
Or you'll grow out of it.
Or one of those things. Mm-hmm. And even addressing the whole, Jesus aspect, I do believe that Jesus is the solution for all of our issues. Even considering that he is the creator of the world and things of that nature, he created a lot of good things for us to utilize. And one of the things is he created some people to be really good listeners. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just need someone to listen to your issues. And like Shaka is a really good listener. And I've come to understand and learn that over the course of years that she listens to me very intently. And actually, I'm being honest with you, babe, like you let me know your thoughts. Like it was really hard at first to like open up and share like the most intimate things. I don't know how it was with you towards me, but it felt like, and you didn't do anything to cause me to think that this was the case. I think it was just like inherently inside of me. But I thought that, if I tell you what's going on inside of me, you would use as ammunition mm-hmm. against me, mm-hmm. or, as, in the future, you would be like, see, that's the reason why you got a problem with XYZ, and you not confident about your big toe because it looked like a rock was carved out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, but you've never did that. I don't know why I put that precedence on you.
So you actually answered your own question while you were telling the story.
How so?
And I don't know if you picked up on it, but your mannerisms, mm-hmm. and you went in this and this and this. And first of all, that's not me, like in terms of this type of thing, this type of action, head bob movement, right? Okay.
First of all, you do hit me with this every once in a while.
But I hit you with this. But I started hitting you with that because you started doing that as a joke.
What is this?
I don't know.
I don't know. What is this?
I don't know. But see, Troy, sometimes when he's trying to mimic how he thinks a female might respond, or if he's just like if he's just trying to be, and it's when he's trying to be funny, a funny way, he'll start doing this and stuff like that, right? Okay. And so
because look, my cousins do me like that. My girl cousins do me like that.
And that's your answer. No, but see, in all seriousness, when I said that, that's your answer. You have been someone has responded that way to you in the past. You are subconsciously pulling from past experiences you've had. And so in some way, you are expecting me to respond how probably other females have responded to you in the past.
Yeah.
And so this right here, I can't even do it right, y'all. Says that somewhere, whether it was just how you've seen people respond or react, possibly family, close friends, past relationships like girlfriends, that kind of stuff, how you've seen them react or how they've reacted to you has imprinted in your psyche, and that's what you're expecting from me. And that's what I think. That's what I mean, that's not me trying to give a clinical answer or anything like that, but that's what I think. And that's why I said I think you've answered it yourself.
Yeah.
You expected that.
So the question is why? Why am I going? Honestly, growing up, what you mentioned a little bit earlier, talking about things that happen inside the family, it stays in the family, right? And I've actually been very vocal about a lot of things that happened in my life, like, the relationship between me and my brother, how we found out that we were actually brothers, the relationship with my father, how it was estranged, and then, we reconciled, and, things of that nature. But just recently, I have, something happened to me, and I thought that I had gotten over a roadblock previously, and something came up. For full transparency, something came up at work, and then it just made me think about the previous experience that I had, and I was like, man, I haven't gotten over this. And my wife, she's my go-to. Like, I really appreciate you. Last night we talked about this, but Shaka didn't know I was going to tell everybody here today. But I was telling Shaka about this, and she was really, really consoling, extremely comforting. She was there for me, and I really appreciate you for that. And I don't know. I just want to do some checks and balances. Now, look, I got my homeboy, and I'm going to just put out here. First of all, y'all need to go see our previous podcast that we did with the Johnsons. It's called Long Lasting Relationships.
I don't know.
Something and sex. All right.
I don't know.
Check that out. And the reason why we interact with them, because like Chris is my best friend. Like my true best friend. We met my freshman year of college when he was a sophomore, and we've been kicking it ever since. He was the best man in my wedding. I was the best man in his wedding. We ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. Right? So and I confide in him a lot about a lot of things. And I know that my brother is also going through things, and he's actually he listens to me. Like if I reach out to him like, hey bro, I'm going through this, we're praying together, we talking through things together, and and I also know, and he does the same for me. And I don't know, I kind of want that like professional aspect of helping me put terminology to like some of the feelings and things that I've been like dealing with over the past few years, so that I can get through like some of these roadblocks. And so what we're gonna do, I'm all my beauties and all my beards out there, what we're gonna do is I want y'all to hold me accountable. Okay, so by the next time after this podcast and I'm wearing different clothes, if a video comes out and I'm wearing the same clothes, and another video comes out and I'm wearing the same clothes, it's the same podcast. But when I'm wearing different clothes, I need to have my counselor by name ready for you all. I'm not going to share his name, whatever the case may be, but because I don't want to expose him or nothing like that. But I need to have that person, and we're gonna walk through this journey of me going through counseling. My hope is eventually that you and I, since you moved down, babe, let me.
Oh, I'm gonna move back.
Right, but I know, but since you got lower, the microphone's covering your mouth, and people like to see how beautiful you are. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a nice way of saying still.
I did not say that. So, eventually, I would really love for you and I to go to counseling, go to couples counseling together, and then even for you to go to counseling by yourself, just so we can. Because here's the thing, babe, you've confided in me in so many things. I am not a professional, though. You know, I can give you my ear, but can I really give you all the feedback that you need to hear? Because sometimes my feedback is biased. I'm pro Shaka, you know what I'm saying? And you right. They shouldn't have treated you like that. We should go knock them in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look, I was doing this right. I was doing this with my right hand.
I told you.
Yeah, we should knock them in the head. But sometimes maybe you don't need to hear, we need to go knock them in the head. Sometimes you might need to hear, hey, babe, you was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid to tell you that you were wrong. But so that's for you. But for us specifically, you know, like specifically, not pacifically, for us specifically, we have, I mean, we're 10 years in, we look good, we look solid. Is there anything that we're missing that we haven't addressed? Because even though it looks clear, there could be a landmine sitting somewhere that once we just haven't stepped on it, and it's going to blow up in our face. And there's probably been some things that that you haven't shared with me that you ain't gotta shake your head, like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
We said we were going to be honest in this podcast, in our journey, and you are hitting on some very real points.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm
and my I know one point specifically,
and I can think of some.
I know one point specifically that I know that I want to talk to a counselor about, and that's year one. Year one of marriage, because year one was so rocky, and it set the tone for like the first 5-6 years. And I just want us to heal from that. I can say I'm sorry as many times as I want to, but that even though I say I'm sorry, that does not make you heal instantly. And so I want us to have some healing.
And if I were truthful, year one was actually a carryover from dating.
Right.
It wasn't even just in year one of being married. Like you and I, our relationship in terms of how we responded to each other didn't change from dating to marriage just because we got married.
Right.
But I think for me, I had some expectations of now
lowered expectations. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. But now that we're married and I'm your wife and you're my husband, I feel like I should be able to ask more of you than than before. So
and I think the exploration of our relationship would open up doors for us to find ways to love each other more. Because we 10 years in, I know you. I mean, I know you, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like with a question mark, but I know there's some inner things in you and there's some inner things in me that haven't been released. Maybe we've forgotten about them. They haven't been touched on. We haven't explored these areas. Like a couple weeks ago was the first time that I realized that I had never expressed to you that I don't know what I'm doing. Like I've been faking like I know what's going on. I'm in control. But like a couple weeks ago, and you were like, what's your plan? I was like, babe, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
You know, though, so Troy mentioned in the very beginning of this podcast, I'm a planner. And so my mind naturally goes to, I am comfortable and I'm confident in whatever decision I make as long as I can prepare for it.
Yeah.
And so whenever things are last minute, and my concern is not that it's not going to work I'm not concerned that it's not going to work out. I'm concerned that I'm forgetting something or that we're going to forget something. And so as long as I can check everything off of a checklist, I'm good. And so I think that's one of the things we realize where we differ. Troy is very spontaneous. Like, he is the true definition of, we will plan it when we get there. And so,
Yep.
And so, of course, when I ask him, what's your 5-year plan? How do you think you're going to make this happen? What are your next steps? What are blah, blah, blah? That is not me trying to put pressure on my husband. That is me saying, I need to jot these things down so I can prepare for them. Not just me, but so I can align things for us so we can get ready for this next step. So, for instance, if my husband says next year I want to take this podcast, and make it, more public or what have you, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to give more time to it, which means I want to work part-time, something like that. Then I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do next year, then my mind automatically goes, okay, so we need to work this year and get our money together. We need to also make sure we're investing in equipment now. We need to blah, blah, blah. And so I start planning, for us to get ready for that next step.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things. But for him, what I think I don't realize sometimes is, for you, that feels like pressure to have a response.
What we gonna do? Come on. Tell me what we gonna do right now.
Yeah, and it's not meant to.
And here's the thing. I mean, I do got a plan. I do have a plan for us. I do have vision for us.
Mm-hmm.
Without vision, the people perish. I do have vision for us. It just seems like the vision isn't coming to fruition right now.
And it changes.
And oh my gosh, COVID happened.
It changes frequently.
And it changed the whole year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so, things happen. You can have a plan. And here I think I am. You mentioned me as being spontaneous, and changes happen, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
and see, for me, that's hard because a lot of times I know exactly what to do or what I want to do.
Right.
But even after 10 years, I'm still trying to find that balance of, how do I leave this open so it can be an us decision,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to me just deciding for us.
Right.
And that's a hard line to try not to cross.
Right. So since we talking about planning, let me just go ahead and
stop.
I'm gonna do this at least 6 more times throughout the day. So like talking about planning, my plan is to. Here's another announcement.
Before you make that, don't lose your thought.
Yes.
Okay, because I'll lose my thought.
Okay.
The one thing I also wanted to mention is, you said, I know you, I think, and don't want to forget that one. One of the things that every single wise married couple ahead of us has told us, whether they're a parent or they've just been married for several years or whatever, changing careers, they have told us that at every milestone in your life, you're almost like a different person. And so who you were when you were single is not who you were when you're married, or who you were, even when you were in your 20s or before you had kids, that kind of thing. So to your comment of, I think I know you, we also knew the dating us and so the 10-year ago us. So you and I are at a point in our lives where we do have to get to know each other again, because, now I'm the 40-year-old me.
That is crazy. Right? Never even thought about that. That is so crazy.
And now you are the 36-year-old you. When we were married, you were the 26-year-old you.
Totally different ages.
Totally, exactly. And so when you're like, I think I know, that's why these conversations have to happen, and even conversations off camera have to happen, because we have to get to know the new us.
Right.
And then we've been working together. So there's a whole different aspect of us, because
like monetary, getting money, working together.
No, having the same job, like working at the same job. Okay,
money.
well, sorry. I thought you meant like having a career job type deal, us.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and so we have to make sure that we are intentional about knowing us outside of the employee coworker.
That is true. That is true.
You see what I'm saying?
I will say that has drawn us closer together, though. I mean, it makes for interesting conversation.
Yeah, I don't know that I feel that it's necessarily drawn us closer together. I think time has drawn us closer together, but
Girl, you better spit them bars.
But I think having that common, normally you'd say common interest, but but having that commonality has helped, has been a driving topic.
Right.
Or has been a major topic of conversation, especially in 2020.
Yeah, most definitely.
Another podcast.
We laughing because let me tell you what, we're going to record that podcast that we're laughing about right now.
Probably in the same clothes.
And so when it's released like 6 months later, it's for a reason. So the other announcement is, talking about planning that we were talking about is, I have come to the decision I am going to get my doctorate degree. Honestly, after I got my...
These are all great announcements, guys.
I know,
I'm
right?
excited.
I know. After I got my master's, I was like, I'm not going back to school again. Never. And that's actually what I said after my bachelor's degree. And then I got 2 masters.
Troy and I are professional students. We have come to that conclusion. I do too. I like higher education.
And I've been writing a little bit lately. Now, granted, my grammar and stuff is off initially, but I make some profound statements when I write. I ain't tooting my own horn, but I'm gonna go toot right real quick. And so I am going to get my doctorate degree, and it's necessary for the career that I'm trying to get into. Like, I'm trying to go up higher in higher education, and right now in a master's degree, the highest I can go in the majority of places is like a director level, but eventually, like, I would like to get to a dean level, if not, VP or something like that. So we'll see.
No, not we'll see. We're gonna work it out.
Well, I'm talking about we'll see as far as like, how that career part goes out. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get that doctorate degree. And and also a part of our planning is that Shaka is able to finish her degree, and that she's able to her master's, and then so she can go on to her doctorate degree. So we can be 2 doctors, and we might have to change the name of the podcast. Doctor and Doctor.
Down the road.
Dr. Beauty and Dr. Beard. That would be dope when we finally when Oprah and Jada Pinkett Smith invites us to the Red Table Talk, or
Not
Ellen
Oprah.
or Ellen invites us to on the show or something like that, and it's like Dr.
Why did you choose all of those people in 2020?
Oh, that's right. Ellen's got a thing going on right now.
Hey, we don't have to rehab. We don't have to have.
Jesus.
Yep, they all.
When we are on some show and they have us on there and they introduce us as Black Love. Okay? That's a good show.
That's a good show right now.
That's a good show. Okay.
Yes.
When they have us on Black Love, we have Dr. Beauty and Dr. Beard here today. That's gonna be so dope. I'm speaking into existence. I did a brainstorming session. That's actually part of the planning I was going to mention too. I did a brainstorming session Monday night, and I just started right now. I was like, man, these are things I want to do. These are things I want to do for our podcast specifically. And I was like, these are achievable goals. But I would never even think to try to achieve them had I not written them down.
Yeah. No. A lot of... Well, actually, I don't know where I was going with that. But But they are. I think for us, it's just we need to plan it out. We have the tools that we need. We have the resources. We have the ability. A lot of the goals we set are achievable. We actually just have to put our plans in motion.
Got to put them in motion.
And so even right now with us getting master's degrees, I know for the one I'm getting right now that I'm finishing up, it was intentional. I had said for years I wanted to do it. I just didn't stop working long enough to make it happen. And God blessed me with a husband who I was able to share that with. And I said, this is what I want to do someday. And he used his platform or his career basically to make it happen for both of us. So he's like, I need to find a job that works for me. And it just so happens I work in academia. You want to go to school and get your graduate degree. And so I'm going to have both of those in, the back of my mind as I'm planning our next step as a family. And it worked out. And so here I am, getting my degree. He's working. He has always wanted to do seminary and kind of get that theology degree. And so he took advantage of it and was able to get that degree for himself as well. And so for both of us, we work in academia. Why not?
Why not do it?
We've worked in academia pretty much our entire adult career life. And so why not? If it's available to us, why stop here? And I think I've shared this before in a podcast that I had a teacher in high school. Hi, Dr. Mason, who had said to me in my career field that if I did not go all the way, I would have limitations. And he actually had me do research to kind of see in the area that I wanted to study what levels of education I needed in order to be able to accomplish it. And I never took that for granted, but work happens, you start making money, you settle, you get comfortable, and you're like, this is good. And you realize that sometimes in order to go further, it might mean you have to take a step back. So maybe I can't work full time, or maybe I can't make as much money as I'm making right now. And for me personally, my drive to get that next degree is because when I am done, I want to be done. And right now I'm a student. I'm in the mindset of studying and preparing and doing these things. And I saw what happened when I had a gap as big as I did and took forever to go back to school. And I don't want to do that again.
Right.
And so my thought is, and also I don't want that glass ceiling that I had.
No.
That I had at the level when I just had my bachelor's. And so that's my drive. It's not that I want the accolades or even the, the credentialing behind it and stuff like that. That's great. And I'm going to be a lifetime learner. You have to get continuing education. You have to keep your license renewed, like all the different things. But when I'm done this part of school, I want to be done this part of school.
And just be done with it. Yeah.
I don't want to look 10 years from now and say, man, I wish I would have got my doctorate degree.
And to be honest with you, like there are that's not the only thing that we want to do. Like I actually said it the other day, I want to be a podcaster. I legit want to be a podcaster. I think it's super duper cool. I think I really like the aspect of creating. So even like y'all can't see the set that we have right now, but we got 2 lights, we got 2 cameras on right here. Got my computer that's recording us, and we got a monitor over here checking us out, making sure that we look straight into the everything. But who knew that was possible? Like, and I started doing it, and we did like one, and I was like, I really like this feel, and then me and you did a couple podcasts. Well, we did that one podcast that no one will ever see because it was horrible. The 30-year-old virgin joint.
I never, I didn't even realize it hadn't been released.
Yeah, never released that one.
Why?
Because it was bad. You withheld the purpose of that podcast was for you to share openly.
So no.
And you shared closedly.
No. The purpose of that podcast was for me to share what my husband wanted me to share of my story.
I wanted her to spill all
it
the
wasn't
tea.
And so one of the reasons why I think you feel it was bad was because I didn't I shared my story the way I wanted to share my story. You're like, I want you to share your story the way I want you to share your story.
It. Spill the tea.
He wanted me to be very specific, and
Shocker.
I gave the story or told the story the way I wanted to tell it, to protect the individuals involved. One of the reasons
Bump them individuals.
So
they ain't here now.
No. Okay, this is gonna make you seem like you were pretty fast when you were younger. So I have to say this. I have to give that disclaimer because you weren't, but it's gonna make it sound that way.
Troy was promiscuous.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
Oh, did I just put myself?
I only had one boyfriend other than Troy. And so if I sit here and I tell my story, it's clear who I'm talking about. Whereas my husband can tell 10 different stories. And
whoa. Let's not just be throwing numbers out there like that. First and foremost, don't even look over there. Look over there. Don't look at me. Look over there. Let's not throw out numbers like 10. Let's just say maybe 2.
I'm just saying,
Troy might have 2 stories, and we don't know which person we talk about.
Fingers to count.
Let's not throw out numbers like that.
Maybe.
Oh.
So that
has been our podcast for today. I'm Beard. Peace.
And I'm being honest. So that's why that was a little bit more edited than he wanted it to be, and not as candid maybe as he wanted it to, as you would have thought, like when you were thinking of the storyline. Just because that was my story. My story was I got in a relationship when I was ready to actually be in a serious relationship. And once again, even with my husband, I did not get into a relationship again until I was serious about being in a relationship, and I was looking for a lasting relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of skeletons in my closet. So if you open the closet, you're going to see one person standing there.
First of all, I don't like that.
Okay, so I'm not saying that I didn't have individuals.
Let me tell my story. Don't you tell my story.
And that's how I felt about that podcast.
But I was trying to pull the story out.
No,
the people want to know. So look, listen. I'm gonna say this. We got to move on because we ain't even started the game.
I don't know if we are gonna get to the game. To be honest, when you started talking about when you started divulging your secrets, I think it took a different turn.
It definitely did.
And
the game next time then?
Yeah.
Okay. The name of the podcast that is not released or would not be released, because I think I even deleted all the material. I'm sorry. It was that bad.
Wow.
It was called The 30-Year-Old Virgin. Right? So, the backstory is me and Shaka got married. I was 26. Shaka's 4 years older than me. She was 30. So on our wedding day, my wife was still, at my time, fiance. On
our wedding day when we got married, I was your wife.
She was my wife, and she was a virgin. I married a virgin, and she was 30 years old. And so that's basically like watching a unicorn walk across the highway. Is like, I've never seen one of those before. And my wife's beautiful. She has a phenomenal story, and I just wanted her to share it, but I wanted her to share all of it, and I was so disappointed. I think that was like our second podcast that we recorded.
No. I feel like we did a few before that one. Oh yeah, it might have been.
I think it might have been the second one, and it was the only one that we ever recorded in the kitchen. Because I was trying to work some different scenes and stuff like this, and we started getting into the whole story, and I was trying to get Shaka to tell us details
So, guys,
about her boyfriend.
is that secret number 5 that he deleted the podcast that was about me?
Oh, I did. I did.
Now that one's a real one that we haven't talked about at all.
We have not talked about one.
That was
it's not really a matter of delete too. I just don't know where it is. There's a few podcasts I don't know where they are.
Oh my goodness, I should
like
really
there's a Brody's. There's a part 1 of Brody's. It's somewhere. When I find that, I'll release that, but it's not going to have the best audio because we lost the audio.
So these are the missing podcasts.
He is a missing podcast. So in the podcast, I was just the whole time I'm throwing the alley-oop, and Shaka's catching it and then throwing it out of bounds. She's not slam dunking any of these alley-oops. And so I was like...
And I knew he was throwing them because all through the podcast, I'm like, and I'm not going to mention this. And I actually said that a couple of times, and I'm not going to go there. And it wasn't, again, it's not me keeping a secret. If any of you ever wanted to discuss, the details off camera, I would be just as open and transparent, and I would use a name and all that other great stuff.
Right.
But we do recognize that this is public.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
so
true.
anybody can watch it and anybody can see it. And then also, we have a very small, close-knit group of friends and family and stuff like that. And so even though I'll probably never see that person again, ever, 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 I mean, the world is small. It's not, even though I believe it's never.
It's a small world.
It could very well happen. We always say we go to airports, and Troy
always know someone at an airport.
Always. Doesn't matter what state we're in. Always, guys. I'm not even exaggerating when I say always.
I was in Chicago. I got delayed in Chicago once. I got delayed in Chicago because of the weather was so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in the airport. And I looked across the way and I was like, I think this guy graduated like 2 or 3 years ahead of me. And I just walked up to him. I was like, hey, did you go to Martinsville? In Chicago, Illinois. Did you go to Martinsville High? Like, yeah, I did. I did too. I don't know how I don't know how that happened.
Exactly. So, that's respect. I just want to be respectful.
Yeah. And I dig that. And that's actually one of the pros about Shaka, which I hate about her at the same time. If you need a confidant, a person that will never leak any of your issues, anything that you share with them, Fort Knox. And I'm gonna tell you how I know, because there's a thing in the court of law that's called husband-wife confidentiality, right? Meaning she can't be held liable for anything. She can be able to confide things in with me because I'm her husband. Well, my wife doesn't do that. So whenever she's hanging out with somebody or something like that, I'm like, oh, what y'all talked about? Stuff.
No.
What's the stuff y'all talked about? Things. Well, what are the things? What were the topics? A lot of them. If you just won't just tell me.
So
what were y'all talking about?
Okay.
Were y'all talking about me? Huh?
So, world, I want to share this part with you. It's not that I don't tell my husband things, because that's how it sounds.
Right. She does tell me things that are necessary that I need to know.
Okay. It makes it, and I tell you some things that you don't necessarily need to know, because
some things that I don't want to know.
Yeah. See, exactly.
Some things I don't pay attention to. I almost spit up my
chop
coffee.
You in your throat. And so I do actually tell my husband a lot of things, and I divulge a lot of things with him. Right. But yes, there are certain things that I may not discuss. One, because it's not important. It's not going to benefit our relationship or our marriage. Two, I'm also very mindful of not not influencing, it's not influencing, but not wanting to, I don't know how to say it.
No,
So
you were saying not influencing my opinion on someone that you would share information about.
yeah. Like I don't want to say something about someone and then all of a sudden my husband has, or say something about, tell my husband a story, or something that happened, and all of a sudden impression. I think impression. I don't want to
hurt someone else's impression on me, or my impression on someone.
your impression of someone else.
Yeah,
There you go. I don't want to set that up, you know. And then also I don't want to put my husband sometimes in a position where he has to keep a secret. Sometimes it's just better not to know. That. Exactly, because there's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
And so if you have to walk up to someone and be like, I actually already know about this, you know, kind of deal. And then sometimes
and I gotta fake like I'm surprised. It's like, oh, yeah, that's exciting. But I had been,
you know, like when you watch on television and someone has told someone about, you know, this person with red hair that does blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And then you see in the show, they meet that person and that person says one word or does one thing, like a weird laugh or something. And then all of a sudden you can see the person's face and they look at the person who's told them about that person, and they're like, in their mind, they're like, that's the redhead girl. This is a crazy cough lady. This is a, you know, whatever. And you see the wheels turning.
I'm moving the camera. Because here's the thing. We kept the microphone close to you at the very beginning because you were very soft, but you're getting really excited right now and you're spiking on the audio. So that's the reason why I was moving your microphone.
It's just really.
So you need to pick. Are you going to be excited or are you going to be soft?
I'm going to be really excited. It's just weird watching you. You're like, I'm talking and he's like, and this is but you see the wheels turning when they realize it's the person, and then you can tell in the show that all of a sudden how their impression of that person has changed and how their thinking of that person has changed. And then they also have to, you know, maintain their their integrity, and not all of a sudden start saying all of the things that they know. And I don't want to put my husband in that position.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that. So sometimes it's just to protect you.
And a lot of that ends up being because we work together. Like, she may have instances or interactions with people that, and they're different from mine, and we're two totally different people. So, and I might, you know, enjoy being around a person. Shaka may not. She may enjoy being around someone, and I may not. And so she doesn't. If she has a bad interaction with someone, she won't necessarily tell me, give me details, because she knows I have a working relationship with them, and she also knows that I'm a ride and die with my boo boo. Although, yes, I will ride and die with my boo-boo 99% of the times, because it has been a couple times I was like, I think you might have been wrong in that situation, babe. But you don't say it like that because you gotta share the same bed with that individual at night, and you don't want to wake up with a black eye. You don't know how you got that black eye. But yeah, and so I appreciate that, and that you do that. And yeah,
and my rule has always been that I give everyone a chance. It doesn't mean I trust everyone right away, because trust is something I think you have to earn. But I give everyone the same opportunity from day one.
Right.
And so until you actually do something to me personally, that we have no issues, we have no qualms. Like we're friends, we are, you know, there's just a good working relationship. Once you do something to me directly, it's hard to fix that, but I'll give you another opportunity to fix it. If you do it again, though, I can't say that it would happen the same, you know, that I would still give that opportunity. That also applies with my husband, if someone does something to my husband, depending on what it is, I also recognize that sometimes that's just the interaction they have or have had with my husband.
Good or bad.
And it's good or bad. And it's not necessarily a reflection of how they feel about me.
Yes.
And so I try to give that person an opportunity again. Now, same policy applies if they do something else to my husband. It might change a relationship a little bit. I'm not saying that I still wouldn't interact with the individual or be cordial or what have you, but we're probably not going out for coffee or tea or something like we did before.
Let me tell y'all this story real quick. So I'm in this basketball league, right? And and I hurt my ankle at playing at the Y outside of the basketball league, and so I couldn't play on the team. But I still wanted to go and be a part of the team because we were new to Lynchburg, and so I wanted to I wanted to be around people and get to know the community and things of that nature. So I stayed on the team, but instead of a player, I became a coach. And so let it be known, I led my team to the championship. We did lose. I put that out there. Part of the reason why we lost is because there was an individual in the crowd who was heckling our team. Now, mind you, we in a gym, we got 10 people on the court, we got 2 referees, I got 3, maybe 4 players on the bench that's waiting, and the other team probably got about 2 or 3 other players. And there, in addition to that, and that was really it. It was maybe like 7 other people in the stands. Who's really coming to go to an adult rec league game, even though it was the championship game? So it's not that many people in there. So there's a guy behind our bench heckling our team. Mind you this, his brother is on our team, and he's heckling us, talking mad trash. Yeah, I'm getting excited. That's the reason why I pushed it out. I'm getting mad excited. So he's talking trash, right? And I turn around, I was like, hey, bro, your brother's on our team. Can you just like chill a little bit? Because you're not cheering us on. You're actually talking bad about us, and we're doing pretty good right now. But you're becoming a distraction. He's the only voice in the whole gym.
He was trying to be I don't know if this is a real thing, but how you have like a passenger side driver, he was trying to be like a bench coach. He was trying to coach them from the benches.
And being discouraging though.
Yes. He's like, you can't do that. You have to, if you would have just drove down the, whatever and blah, 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 then it would have.
And it was just bad.
I was like,
hey, bro. And I turned around one time. The first time I turned around, I was like, hey, bro, man, we appreciate your enthusiasm. Man, can you just quiet down or something like that? You kind of being a distraction. A distraction. I'm here. I paid money to get. He paid $2 to get into the game. I should have just look. If you paid to get in the game, here your $2 back. Yeah. I only got a $5. Keep the 3 change. It's amazing how I did math like that quick just now. 2, 3 equals 5. And so okay, then he quieted down just a little bit. Game went on just a little bit more, and he kept going in. And eventually, it was like maybe 2 or 3 more times this happened. Then I'm turning around, I'm like, hey, bro, can you just like chill? It got so bad, the league organizer came to me and was like, at halftime, was like, bro, do you want me to kick him out of the game? And I was like, man, he what's it to do in Lynchburg? You know what I'm saying? I don't want my mans to be kicked out of the game. I wanted him to enjoy it.
In my opinion, going back to what you said about there not being a whole lot of people in the stands.
Right.
I feel that part of the reason why it was so distracting was because you could hear him clearly. Normally, you would have so many people in the stands that one person yelling like that there would be no clarity to what they're saying, right. Mm-hmm. Or there wouldn't be any clarity to what they're saying. And so it would be drowned out. But because he was in the bleachers that were nearly empty and my husband was also coaching the team, it sounded probably from the court like you couldn't tell who was actually coaching the
Right,
team.
right.
Because what this guy was saying, you could hear from the court very clearly.
Very clearly. And it was, yes. So if it was disturbing me, I know it was getting on the nerves of the people that were on the court, my players. Mm-hmm. And we had a really good chance of winning that championship too. It came down to the end.
Mm-hmm. So what happened?
So I turned around, and the very last time I turned around and I said something, and he said, I forgot what he said. I don't know how he said it. But then Shaka said, you don't talk to him like that. That's my husband.
I did get like that for that moment. I will say, yes.
Hey, look, Shaka was like, that's my husband. You don't talk to him like that. And then, but here's so funny. Talk about ride or die. The funny thing is, I'm sitting up there, I'm thinking, okay, now have you ever seen like those movies where it's like the split second of like a person thinking? And you're like, well, okay, how's this gonna work out? This go this way, this go this way. So Shaka just said this, right? So I paused. I was like, if this man say something back to my wife, we about to get the scrapping up in here. And I got on a suit, and I took this rec league game seriously. I wore a suit to coach, and I was like, I'm gonna have to knock on his head. And I know his homeboys was with him. I was like, I might get jumped up in here. But you're not about to do my wife like that. Shaka said, you ain't gonna talk to my husband like that. You know what my mans did after all that trash talk throughout the whole game? I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he can't say that to me.
Well, he
cowered.
He actually said, I apologize, ma'am. He's like, but I was just saying he can't. And then he went into that. And so I will say that was to me a respectful moment, because it was like, I'm a fan reacting like a fan would react, but I have to respect you, you know, because that's your husband. And so even though I'm reacting like a fan, he is a person. And so I'm saying these things about a person, and I could see why you would be offended. It didn't stop him from reacting, but it changed how he reacted. But anyway, I was about to, I was not happy.
Shaka was going to snap on home.
I really was. And I'm talking this was a grown man.
Grown
man. And there was a bunch of grown men in there.
And they were watching, and they knew he was wrong.
Yeah.
But because they were with him, they didn't say anything. So when I was like talking back to him, they never said anything. Mm-mm. And then when you responded to him, they never said anything because they knew he was in the wrong. He was.
Mama Bear showed up.
Needless to say, the last update I got on him is he was in jail.
And when you hear that kind of stuff, and you're like, and I definitely popped off on him. And it's crazy because you never know what someone's capable of, I guess, until you push them to that limit. And so to hear that story, I'm like, I don't think my life would have, he would have done anything to me except for yell back at me or something like that, or maybe he had a girlfriend who would have handled it. But in the moment, I was like, this is my boo.
That's my boo.
And you are not about to go to talk to him that way. And he's not doing anything but his job.
And I wasn't even getting paid.
And you weren't even getting paid. I'm like, I'm
volunteering.
This is a spectator sport.
Exactly.
So sit down.
Sit down somewhere.
Sit down and spectate.
Anyway.
But thank you for the respect at the same time, for at least acknowledging. But yeah, I had to.
Oh, we had a good stopping point?
I think so. I wish we could remember why we told that story.
I don't remember why we told that story. And I'm going to be so mad when I watch the playback and I'm like, oh, that's why we told that story.
That's why. Oh, we never got to the point. Okay. No.
Because I know we were talking about like work people and how we don't take impressions. Yeah, maybe I just wanted to tell the story.
I think it was also about me saying that I didn't do any someone had to do something to me personally, and maybe you wanted to tell the story of someone actually
Oh
doing something
yeah,
to you.
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. And hey, I've snapped for Shaka before too. We can't necessarily tell that story right now. That was actually going to be the podcast tonight, but we realized it was so much stuff that we can't reveal.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned though,
because that is going to be a very real.
It's going to be a really real one.
Podcast.
Yeah.
When we can have a 2020 recap.
Oh
podcast,
my gosh, yes, that's what we do. December we'll do a 2020
Yeah, but all those things we've talked about this, all of those hints that we just threw out, are actually individual podcasts by themselves.
Yeah.
But we're going to do a 2020 recap.
There's 3 podcasts we need to do.
And by the end of 2020, there might be 5 or 6.
There might be
2020 has been that year. And I know
so much transpired.
Oh my gosh, in just the past 3 months, literally, there, we can't say everything right now, but COVID was just the tip of the iceberg for us.
Yeah. COVID low key was a blessing.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so not taking any type of we recognize that COVID was serious, so we want to say that we're not trying to say that it was. We know that COVID was a hard year for a lot of people. We experienced loss. We did. We had family members who passed away, and we weren't able to actually memorialize them the way we should have been because of COVID. And we lost a couple because of COVID. And it's been a really rough year, and we definitely are praying for the individuals who are still experiencing the effects of COVID, who have had the illness themselves, who have lost loved ones. We're right there with you. So it's not a blessing for us in the sense of what happened. Right. It's a blessing in terms of, or not even a blessing, the retrospect, I guess.
Well, one of the things, let me just put it out there instead of us glossing. Like me and Shaka we were redlining a lot, and when I mean by redlining, like we were at our peak, our capacity of work. And so when COVID hit, it allowed for us to slow down. Well, for me, let me tell why it was a blessing for me. It allowed for me to slow down because around January, February, I was really feeling burnout, And when March hit, I was recording Brody's. And when it hit that we were going to scale back a lot of things and people were going to be working from home, that's what I needed. I needed that extra hour of sleep because I wasn't getting any sleep. Work was becoming overwhelming, and so the break that it gave me a break. Now tragedy has hit us and things of that nature, and those things were really, really bad. And I really wish we didn't have to go through COVID and those things happen. But there was a silver lining as a part of it. For me.
And I guess I want to change the narrative for that. Having to slow down was the blessing.
Yeah.
Not why it happened or the event, but having to slow down was a blessing. For me, the change of scenery was good. It was nice. We had a time period of several months of being able to work from home. I needed that. We needed a change of scenery, and the timing. Who knew that all of this stuff regarding race would happen at the same time?
Right.
And so, to be honest, for me to be able to be at home and process that away from the general public,
that's right,
was huge. Had that happened, and we'd still been at work or still having to go out, and do stuff at church or do stuff with friends or anything like that, I don't know if I would have been able to take the time I needed to collect myself and to really process what was happening and to be prepared to have this conversation when we finally were able to go out and mingle and connect with other people. I don't know if my conversation would have taken on the form that it did.
Right.
Had it not been for the fact of having that time to be able to be at home with my husband and us process it together before we started having the conversation with people outside of our home,
Yeah,
or outside of our culture,
yeah,
outside of our race.
yeah, yeah. All of that.
All of that. So, but there's other things too
that has happened during this time.
Yeah.
And
y'all,
oh my gosh, y'all pray for us.
if we were better writers, it would be a great book. But since we don't write,
Gosh.
we do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
So it's going to be a great story.
Yeah, we should write a book, Beauty and Beard in 2020. Beauty and Beard, actually, you know, I was able to pick up a little bit more during 2020 during this time too. So
Yeah, but we're not going to tell all of 2020 right now.
no,
We're gonna save that.
We'll save that for later. We'll jump into the end game next time because we obviously did not even touch it at all. I'm actually glad we were able to do this impromptu type of thing. Because it was good.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
It wasn't programmed.
No, it wasn't.
And that's one of the things I want to capture here. I want to capture more of a natural feel. You want to do at least one card?
No, but I don't want to do a card, but I kind of do want to share with them what a card would have been.
If you read it and it's a good card, we're going to do it.
Well, then I'm not going to read it.
Let's
wait.
just wait. We'll set up another time next week.
Sounds good.
What do you think about the Wednesday night recording? Like recording we normally record Saturday morning.
It's okay.
The fakest smile ever.
I don't. That was.
I am hungry though.
I'm hungry too.
Close this out.
That was just that was a random question. I'm like, why?
The whole night has been random.
No, I know, but I feel like we're just talking now. Hey guys, it's been great.
It's been great.
I'm not going to try to come up with content. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beauty and Beard.
It's your boy T. Roy.
And your girl Shaka.
Peace.
Love you guys. Love you too.
That was good. That was really, really good.
So I was like, you're just talking about stuff now. Like,
I mean, you know, it was good. It was getting good to us.
Yeah, but you were like, what do you think about Wednesday recording? Nobody cares.
I mean, some people who might watch care.
Let's not waste their time with random commentary. Yeah, so when you started going into the counseling thing, I was like,